further ado, let's get on to session one, and the first of today's excellent speakers, my good buddy, Mr. Stuart Jackson, the Chairman of TyreSafe.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning. What a great way to start, and also welcome to Tyre Safety Month. We started off, I can safely say, with a blast. Sky News National on Monday, straight into the radio studio on Tuesday, where we spent significant time with both nationals and regionals carrying the Tyre Safety message for Tyre Safety Month. The provisional figures look like 22.5 million opportunities to listen for Sky News, and the regionals are expecting somewhere in the region of 30 million. What a fantastic way to start Tyre Safety Month, and that we had an opportunity to talk to almost 50 million people. Wonderful. What I want you to do is just give you a quick overview. We've seen some statistics change. The recent Department for Transport statistics have shown us there's been a slight change, and I'm going to come to that. But some of the statistics that we've used so far that are absolutely alarming haven't seen much of a change on an average of over 5 years, and that includes the last 12 months. If you look at vehicle defect related casualties, the number of casualties we're seeing is almost 3,000. Horrendous thought. Of that, 478 killed or seriously injured. Nobody wants to be part of that statistic. And if we drill that down, that graph on the left shows you all casualties by the type of defect on the car. We saw a drop in tyres in the last 12 months, and you could say that's a positive, and actually it's a false positive, because if you look at the numbers on the right, that represents the number of killed or seriously injured by individual failure, and tyres is the highest. And we know that's a conservative figure, and we also know that it's grown. That represents over 1,000 people every single year that results in a casualty, and 183 in the last rolling 12 months killed or seriously injured. That is a horrendous figure. We shouldn't be looking at those kind of numbers related to tyre failure, but we do. Some of the worst examples, we thought it would be interesting for you to see what we see on an average day. At point of replacement, that's what the tyre looked like. That's what the tyre looked like. Still on the car, still being used. And we know from those statistics of the work that we've done on an average over the past 5 years, over 70% of vehicles on the road already have tyres at 2 mils and under. That's 0.4 of a millimetre just above the legal limit. Still in the car. And no, we didn't do that, so we made it easy to read the numbers. And no, it didn't come off the car. Honestly, the car wasn't running with it like that, obviously, but that very easily just crumbled at the point of demount. One of my favourites, well done, George. One of my favourites, for all you disbelievers in the room, Nessie does actually exist, and it would appear she lives in a 275/4020. That was on the car. Is it any wonder why we do what we do? So, when it comes to driver habits, that 1 in 5, where we know that drivers, and this is all drivers, have never checked a tread depth even, is a big target for us in education. What's even worse, however, is we know that number is 3 in 5 of young drivers. Up-and-coming drivers, and of course we don't teach young drivers tyre safety. We don't teach young drivers how to recognise when a tyre needs attention. That's not part of that process. So there's a big call for education, and you can see why. That results in over 2.2 million MOT failures every single year. And that's purely tyre defects. 2.2 million every single year. So the statistics we looked at haven't really changed very much. Over a quarter of the vehicles, around about 10 million tyres at any one time on the road, have at least one illegal tyre. Over 70% of the vehicles on the road already have a tyre or more at 2 mils and below. That's 0.4 of a mil, half the thickness of a bank car. Now, I get asked questions regularly, how long is it going to last? Actually, you know what? I don't know. I can't tell you. Do you drive in the city? Do you drive on the motorway? Do you drive like a nutso? I don't know. Can't tell you. What I can tell you is, absolute fact, it's not going to get any better. So now's the time. That's your call to action right there. Killed or seriously injured. Interesting statistics we broke down. We know how much visibility that one gets. We know how much enforcement that gets. And we know how much attention overall using a mobile device in the car gets and enforcement. Correct? And we have to support that. Because it's right. It's the wrong thing to do. That statistic just released with the new DFT figures has seen a significant increase in killed or seriously injured as a result of using a mobile device at the wheel. It's not really surprising. We knew that was going to happen. When it comes to brakes, it's 145. When it comes to tyres, it's 183. Okay, we accept the fact we know the mobile device contribution is bigger. We know that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen. We expected it. But the biggest message here is the tyres hasn't decreased any. It's still a big problem. And it's much easier to be able to identify a mobile phone as a direct cause than it is to determine whether or not it was a failed tyre. Not an easy thing to do. So that's the reason why we still use those statistics. We absolutely acknowledge the fact that the other one is growing, but we haven't in any way, shape or form reduced that number. So for this year, we've taken those into new infographics. They're all available in the assets and in the toolbox for everybody to use. Spread the message. The campaign for this year, we went a little bit retro. We've gotten nostalgic. We've gone back to Pathé News, and we even produced a brand new video to go with it, all done in Pathé News style. It has to be engaging. What we do has to be engaging. We have to make it so that everybody can find something they're interested in and it carries a message. You'll see on the table outside, we've got our toolkits there, and for the first time actually, we've also made a new publication. But we stuck with that theme all the way through. That's one of our favourites. And on the right hand side you see there's been an upsurge again in the Ladybird type book, right? And now with more adult content. So that's the first publication from TyreSafe. It's all about tyre education. It will take you through the basics, and it's done in a very, very friendly format and easy to read. Home safely, without question, one of our biggest and most successful campaigns. The first stage was to take a baby inside the tyre, up through toddler stage, and delighted to say that we've gone into now stage 3 of Home Safely, and that is who drives your teenage children in addition to you and your grandparents. A lot more people. They're exposed to an awful lot more danger on the roads. Tyre Safety Month materials and the campaign resources we put together. The brand new theme for this year is Tune into Tyre Safety. Again, we've used a very engaging approach, and this time we've used music. And we've recreated the old Fluff Freeman type approach where we've taken the top hits from TyreSafe and we've introduced Get Into the Groove. All the materials are made available, and even the toolkit is done in the form of an old album sleeve. Looks great. And incidentally, there's a cracking video that goes with it. And if you pop into tyresafe.org, it will make you smile, but it carries the message very well. Okay. My least favorite subject. Part 1 tyres. We know that this is a significant issue, and how do we tackle it? Because it's becoming far more difficult for us to take these off the road. Over the last few years, we've done significant work collectively with trading standards. 152 individual part-worn tyre retailers were targeted and inspected. 139 of them were selling tyres illegally. 312 tyres we took for inspection, 191 were unsafe. That is the state of play. And not only that, of course, But as we discovered recently, with the targeted work we did north of the border in Scotland, hand in hand with the police, hand in hand with Tyre, with the Scottish Environmental Protection Agency, and also with Trading Standards, we discovered that in fact it was a front for organised crime. So we uncovered an awful lot more than dangerous tyres. It has a loss for the economy because they're not sold through the normal channels, and potentially, of course, a huge environmental impact. It is a big area that affects us in many different ways. One of the biggest issues we have in respect of a motorist is the hidden dangers of part-worn tyres. We covered this so many times in the interviews we've done in the last couple of days where people say, tell us about part-worn tyres. Surely there must be dangers there that people can't see. Thanks for saying that, because you're absolutely right. The biggest issue we've got is what we can't see. And as professionals, we kind of know a little bit more about what to look for. The motorist at large doesn't. It's an unsuspecting motorist. And these unscrupulous dealers are selling those unsafe tyres to the motorist, who believe them. And they are giving a very bad name for the thousands of professional tyre retailers across the country, nationally and regionally, and for our industry. So, I said, what would happen if we made those hidden dangers unhidden? How would that change attitude? Is the attitude there because of a lack of knowledge? Because of a lack of education still? And the team at TyreSafe, hand in hand with that team in Scotland, put together this. And I want you to listen and look at this and see what you think.
Hello, sir.
Hello there.
How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm looking for some tyres.
Tyres?
Do
Do you know what you're looking for?
A tyre.
Tyre.
I've got a puncture.
Puncture? What size you want?
205, 16.
Sticking for an entire. Well, look no more, sir. We've got a lovely little one here. Look. £20.50.
Seems like a good price.
Or just £25. We can fit that for you today.
Hold on, what's that? What are those chunks missing?
Well, there's a few little blemishes. Hang on, that's got just to say. Yeah, there's a couple of little chunks missing, you know. Fantastic. Well, what's something to say? Only one nail. Keep your distance. If the tyres don't stop you, the car in front will.
Only one nail? What do you mean only one nail?
Only one nail, so let's have a look. Oh, there it is. Look. That's nice. Just a little nail. £20 fitted. Yeah. Only a few cracks, mate. Which could lead to major failure. Only a small bulge, month in hospital orders. Possible loss of vehicle control. You know, I mean, if you were to drive on it, then your next journey could well be in an ambulance. I mean, that could potentially lead to a loss of control of your vehicle. You know, the consequences of that, of course, you could end up quite badly injured and having to take extended time off work.
I don't believe it. You're trying to sell me a tyre that's got a nail in it.
Next journey in an ambulance.
Yeah, that's right.
Should we put it on for you now?
How could you sell stuff like that?
What do you think? One actor in that, this one. One actor, the rest were unsuspecting motorists. We did come clean, by the way, at the end. But that's the story, and that's how the attitudes changed. The best statement for me on that whole thing is, how can you sell stuff like that? Beautiful. That's available now freely. It's downloadable, it's on YouTube, and the more people see that, the better. Agreed? Agreed. Like it. That statement I've made so many times. As far as I'm concerned, part-worn means part-safe. Because you don't know what you're going to buy. So the message is, we need education. So to that degree, we need to raise the game. And we are in now the initial throes of a proposal for a multi-agency programme that will tackle the part-worn issues that we have. And this is going to need tremendous input, and it's going to need a lot of cross-agency support. Yeah. It'll be a holistic approach which will take in different partners in different ways. It'll tackle the supply chain, it'll tackle the distribution chain, and it'll tackle consumer education. We will tackle the message through importers, vehicle dismantlers, wholesalers, retailers, and there isn't a sector of driving that we want tackled in respect of education. It'll be done in various different ways, through enforcement, and unfortunately, it will have to happen. Through enforcement training, so that we know the people on the streets will actually know what they're looking for and what to do. And of course, we'll carry an education message through TyreSafe and through the partnership. The National Roads Policing Intelligence Forum is 100% behind us here, and will work with us to coordinate that. And one of the biggest benefits we'll get from that, aside from removing these tires from the streets, is the type of intelligence we're going to get back that will tell us what we're doing, how we're doing that, and what the outcome will be. These are the partners we will target to work with. I'm not going to read them all, you can see that for yourself. But I'll give you one example of how difficult actually it can be to have engagement. Recently, I've been working with Warwickshire, my home council, Warwickshire County Council, related to different road safety programmes, which includes tyres and it also includes speed, because speed is a big problem across Warwickshire. And the response I got was, well, okay, we have a system for that. You have to prove the case. You have to prove that it's necessary. And we have a points system. And we allocate points based on different type of incidents, the severity of the incident, and the frequency of the incident. And then when you've reached enough points, then we'll give you what you need as far as speed signs or speed restrictions on roads and that. I thought, okay, that's different. I have to prove the point first. He said the best way to do it actually is to give me a body bag account. That was the statement. If you can give me a body bag account, it makes it much easier. So we have to get to the point of actually having bodies in bags to prove a point to get support. That is how difficult it actually is. And I said to him, I'll tell you what, I've got 183, how many would you like? Have I given up? No, actually. Because I've gone beyond him now and I'm challenging Warwickshire County Council's policy. That's being supported by the local police, and through Tyre Safety Month, the majority of the forces will be supporting us with roadside checks, armed already with tread depth gauges, and the tyre checking is now one part of the 5-point roadside check, which is a fantastic step forward and a big commitment from the police nationally. It doesn't stop. It's going to be very difficult to do. Is an outright ban going to be practical? That's going to be very difficult to do. We know that. We've been there. We thought of it. We're ready to challenge that. But I will give you the commitment from our point of view. Our objectives here are twofold. One, remove dangerous and illegal tyres from the supply chain, and target and drive out the unscrupulous and incompetent retailers that exist inside our network to give us a bad name, because they are responsible for this. It's not going to be an easy job, but I promise you something, the commitment is there to make it happen. That's where we are. Jason right now is on the radio, with I think BBC Radio Norwich. Unfortunately, the Sky News TV interview was bumped, but it will happen because apparently Boris said something about the Prime Minister. So that had to come first. But the great news is that Sky News jumped straight on the fact that we are running our campaigns, and we expect to see an awful lot more of that exposure over the next 3 weeks. Thank you very much. Stefan, thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. As always, excellent and nice points to end on, showing the issues that we're not only having to combat, but also finding a solution to actually ensure that safety of motorists is paramount.